I'm Morrey Thomas with the News and Press, and today we are going to have 7 questions, and our mayoral candidate Curtis Boyd is with us, and he will be talking candidly about his candidacy for mayor and be answering some questions from the News and Press, which we'll post online. Good morning. How are you, Curtis?
Doing good.
Good to see you,
Thank you for inviting me today.
You're very welcome. Good to see you. Curtis, I have 7 questions, and we'll have 2 minutes apiece for these questions. If you need me to repeat the questions, please ask me to do so, and I'll be glad to.
Sure.
Curtis, as you're preparing to go into the election here on the 5th for the candidate for mayor of Darlington, tell us, Curtis, what are your plans to make Darlington more appealing to new businesses and people that would like to move here?
Okay. Which is pretty much what I've already been doing for years, trying to work toward. Again, I've been campaigning now for a year and a half. Lived here for my whole life, 55 years, and my ideas of making the town better is trying to appeal to the people that we have here now, and if we can make our people our citizens that we have here appreciate and love our town and beautify what we've got, the streets, the houses, the businesses. A lot of times when you go through a town, I went through Fredericksburg about a month ago, and I came back with a word that was, to me, was the key word, is inviting. There were chairs out on the restaurants, there were flower baskets out. The garden club here does a wonderful job, but there's more to the town that the garden club can handle. The ladies can only handle so much, so if it's a team, we all jump in and help the garden club to come in and make our town more beautiful, the streets clean, like I said, the houses, everything looking more appealing. And people from the outside start seeing what's going on the inside. So the outside citizens from other towns go and see where there's progress going on here. There's houses being torn down that are dilapidated. There's homes that you ride through town, and there's little ladies in there that are widows that have beautiful little houses and beautiful yards, but then right beside it is a grown-up eyesore. And so and that's multiple places through the town. So we got to start seeing that activity. And so, physically, I have gone out and actually gone above and beyond my area to try to clean up other areas to make the streets cleaner and look better. For example, going down Broad Street, we cleaned up all the way down Broad Street for about 4 or 5 blocks that we're trying to get cleaned up. Different areas that we have created eyesores to clean those eyesores up. So if the citizens from the outside see that, then other businesses will want to start seeing activity from there. They'll want to start being a part of that. I tell people, I have an example of that. Lake City, I've gone to Lake City and opened up a gym in Lake City because you're seeing activity over there, so you want to be a part of that. And so if other people see growth going on, then that's going to encourage them to come into our town and increase our population.
Absolutely. Good, thank you. Curtis, the efforts to repair and improve the city's aging infrastructure, as you well know, the water, sewer lines, stormwater drainage is a big concern here in Darlington. A lot of these projects are pretty much held off by financial constraints. Do you have any ideas or plans that might help the city increase revenue, because these projects are a reality and a need?
Yes, sir. Again, the city is based, a lot of times all you hear them talk about is the revenue is water, sewer, and basic taxes coming into the city. You need more population to come into the city to increase so that it's not just me and you living in the city paying all the taxes. The more people you got bringing in, so just a small handful into your town, then you can increase the revenue from that. But you also need to think outside the box of thinking, what can we do to bring in different revenue? And so there's lots of property around town that can be developed through the city. The city can build their own houses on some of these empty lots and rent those houses out to where down the road we're actually generating more revenue from that. There's properties that they can buy to, like I said, rent out and lease out to generate more funds into the city. So there's a lot of different plans that we can do with thinking outside the box of what we can bring in besides just our normal revenue that they have. But again, to increase that revenue, we need to increase the population, so that way these empty lots aren't sitting there and then you're not collecting anything off of it. There's more revenue coming in from the city and water and the stream that they already have now. But that's part of our problem. Our major problem right now is that the money is not there, and there's a broken fire hydrant on Broad Street that has been broke now for 6 weeks, and they say it's $13,000 to fix it. They don't have money to fix it. They've been told that by 3 people in the city. And so that's a major problem when you got a $7 million budget and you don't have $13,000 to fix something that's fixing to deteriorate a Broad Street road, we've got to really work on thinking outside the box of what other ways that we can do. And there are a lot of other ways that we can bring additional revenue in to the city.
Excellent. Good. Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Boyd, the position of mayor is more than ceremonial. It's more than just the name that it carries.
Right.
Effective mayors often function as ambassadors for the city of Darlington. As a full-time businessman, as a successful businessman in Darlington, how can you personally carve out time to fulfill these duties as mayor?
Okay. That's where I think I'm above and beyond a leader of the other candidates that are running. I've been in business for 30 years, and I have 13 locations. My deal used to be that I ran it all, I handled it all, I could do it all, I. And I learned years back that I can't do but one thing at a time. And so to be able to grow from one position to 13 locations, there is no way that I can be at 13 locations. So I have to be able to handle and manage these people to be able to run my facilities without me being there. I basically visit my facilities once a week. I have other people that handle that, to where I finally, after 30 years of being in business, I'm now at a point that if I want to go down the side of the street and cut the sidewalk with my weed eater, or if I want to go over here and help somebody do something at a house and build a ramp, I'm open to do what I want to do when I want to do it. I taught at Tech for 17 and a half years. I taught karate for 30-something years, built the gyms all over 30 years, and did all that at the same time, to where I know that I can handle multiple things. And my time now is available to where there's no restraint. I can go anywhere I want to go at any time I want to go. My facilities are run and managed by me, but with other people, other managers underneath me, to be able to make sure that my operation is still fine without me being there.
And you do have the time to afford the position of mayor.
Yes, sir. Yeah. And so, and then as far as being an ambassador, and I have connection through other cities and towns to where I have a real good reputation amongst the other areas. I know that my thing is, for years now with the gyms, is that when I go and open up a gym in another town, a lot of times I don't even put a sign up to start with. They're already asking for it to come, because my reputation has been built to know that what I offer is a good service to the other people. And so by doing that, I've made connection with a lot of other companies also to do corporate memberships and things like that. So I have a lot of connections throughout not just Darlington, but like I said, to be able to think outside the box, that there's a lot more to offer than what we are able to do. So we need help from all over to be able to draw these other people in to see that Darlington's where they need to come.
Excellent, excellent, good, thank you, thank you. Mr. Boyd, which of your personal characteristics, your character traits, the things that make Curtis Boyd, what are those traits offered to the city of Darlington? How can the city benefit from your character traits as mayor?
Again, I'm not one to toot my horn, but reputation, integrity. I'm well known in the area, and I'm known for being honest and upstandable citizen in the area, to where if I tell you I want to try to do something, I do my best to do that. And they said I'm dependable, hard worker, and definitely a go-getter, so I don't let grass grow underneath my feet. And so, again, reputation, I would say that I have worked hard to build that name. I had a lady the other day ask me, why did I put my signs out in the county? And I said, because that sign's got my name on it, and it's got my father's name on it, and that name is Boyd. But as I said last night, and please don't cut this out, is that there's a name above that name, and that name is Jesus. And I try to represent Jesus in everything that I say and do. And so I think that's probably what I would like for it to be my strongest trait. And it's not always my strongest trait, because I do fall. But I try to be an upstanding Christian and do the things that are right for everybody.
Excellent. Mr. Boyd, Darlington has currently a council manager form of city government, meaning that the authority to set policy falls on the mayor, the 7 elected council officials, and their appointed city manager, rather than having all of the authority resting within one person. Do you feel the current form of government we have, this council manager form, is effective and appropriate, represents the citizens well, or do you think it needs to be changed?
Well, I know when Mr. Ward was mayor, it was considered what they call strong mayor. And my understanding, everything went through him, and he had final authority over the council. And since then, it's always been considered as a weak mayor, to where the council, the mayor has one vote. A lot of people think the mayor, like I said, is the one that goes in and makes all the decisions. The mayor is the one actually is the one controls and handles and tries to develop the people together to bring them into a good unison to work together and bring what's best to the table. But again, the mayor only has the final vote, and it does not. It's just one vote like everyone else's vote. So there's 6 people on council, and the 7th person is actually the mayor. I think that is the way it should run, because you're taking a major chance of. It would be nice to be able to go in there that I've got the authority to, like I do with the gyms, and say, well, I want to do this, I want to do this, and change everything without having to ask anything but my wife. So when I do stuff at the gym, if I decide to do something, I bought a truck the other day. I didn't call my wife. I bought an advertising truck, and I went and bought it. Told her I bought it. I have to ask the council, and I understand the city doesn't work that way, and so therefore you have to agree amongst everyone. And so as the mayor, your job is to bring those people together to find out what is best for them, and I think that is the best way to do it, so that one person doesn't have control of everything.
So you're agreeing that the current form of government may be the most effective for the city of Darlington.
Right, yes. And the citizens need to make sure they vote. When they vote, who are you voting for, and what knowledge do they have? What are their thoughts, process of how to judge and decide how to spend your money? Because you're putting these 6 people plus the mayor, 7 people in charge of your budget to control your city, and then now they have control of what goes in and out. And they should listen, everyone on council should listen to the citizens, what's going on, and take their heed in it, and then the council has a point then at that time to do what they feel is best. But I think it doesn't need to be one person have control. It should be the council, and the way it's formed right now is best.
Good, thank you. Mr. Boyd, do you think Darlington is ever going to be able to truly compete with cities that neighbor us like Florence and Hartsville, where we are competing with them on a regular basis for shopping, for all of the daily things that we do? Do you think Darlington is going to be able to position themselves to compete?
I think with the right leadership, and I'm glad it's funny that you used that word, because you didn't know that what I said earlier, and I have no idea what your question was, but I said something about competing with the gyms, that I always joke about, that I'm not in competition with other people, with other gyms. I used to, years back, try to be with my gyms, try to compete with other locations, other gyms and fitness centers. And I learned over the year to do what is my best niche. And if I learn to do what I do best at, and it's good, then people will come to me, and that has worked. And so I feel like the same with the city of Darlington, that we shouldn't compete with Florence, and we shouldn't compete with Hartsville. And people, constantly on Facebook, well, they're doing this here, they're doing that there, and we need to figure out what it is we want to do. And so my goal is to draw out a plan, lay it out, the whole city of Darlington, not just the square, but the whole city of Darlington. Darlington City is very large, and so draw out a plan and actually implement that plan so people could see what our goal is for the next 5 to 20 years and actually proceed toward making that plan work. And so at that point, if we actually do that, then other people want to compete with us, and so we won't be competing with them. They'll start looking and saying, what's going on in Darlington? So that's my goal, is for us to be that light on the hill, that at Florence, Darlington, Florence, Hartsville, Marion, Bennettsville, all the other areas like City will go, what's going on over there? They really have it happening, and then they want to start copying what we're doing. And so I don't want to copy what other ones do, and I have ideas I know that will work, that will make everybody else, all the other citizens, all the other towns envious of what's happening in Darlington.
Good. Right. And our last question would be, Mr. Boyd, if you could pick one thing that Darlington needs the most, what would that be, and how can you help the city get it?
I mean, Darlington needs a lot of things. There's a lot of things that are involved with making the quality of life better. Some people would say, well, we need a ball field. Some people would say we need better drainage. Some people say we need better streets, more businesses, and we need all of those things. All of those things will not happen overnight. You can't snap your finger and have a business come into town. When that business comes into town, they're looking for to be able to survive and make sure there's enough revenue coming in for them to provide that facility here in this town. Homeowners are not going to all of a sudden just start moving into town because I became mayor, and we need more residents so that we can have more revenue coming in. So there's a lot of things that the City of Darlington needs. I think the biggest thing that the City of Darlington needs is a vision of making sure that where we're going and actually proceed and make a process of how we're going to implement that vision and that plan. The thing I see from City Council so much, there is really no plan. It's just a lot of shooting in the dark here and there. Let's do this, let's do that. And for the last year and a half, I've seen a lot of people say that there is a plan, but every time you turn around, there is no plan. So to me, there needs to be a plan. There needs to be a love for the City of Darlington. The citizens in Darlington need to turn and love their town enough that they're all willing to step up to the plate. Like I said, I'm willing to step up to the plate because some things are worth fighting for, and our town and our city is worth fighting for. And to me, we need a vision of having a better ball field, of having better streets, and having it to where people are proud of what we've got here. And I know last year when we did the Christmas lights, I saw that. And you see on Facebook people going, "Oh, this is beautiful. This is what the town should look like." And that's what we're looking for, is that when you go downtown, there's not whining and griping about this, whining and griping about that at the City Council. And you're going to have people, no matter what you do, that are going to whine and gripe, and you can't make everyone happy. But to make our town to where people will look at it and go, "I want to be in that city," then the citizens need to have a vision of and proud of what they've got, and they need to see that there is something happening. So to me, one thing that's bothered me is that lots of things that we do in the City of Darlington never completely get finished. It gets started and it doesn't get finished. There's not a really, you need a project. When you do a project, make that project to where it's not just okay, but it is to where the other people in the other towns will look and go, "Wow, look at that." Okay, and so to me, that's what the City of Darlington needs to drill on, is to making it to where the other towns and neighbors will look and say, "That's where I want to go." And if we do that, then we can have the streets, we can have the ball fields, we can have the high school. I just talked with the high school coach today, and they're still using the same old equipment. And I know that's not city, but it's just everywhere. There's other surrounding areas and cities that have way more for their citizens. And so for you, and I know probably over my 2 minutes, but my Dylan Jim and Dylan, the man walked in the other day looking with another doctor to bring him to Dylan, to get him to sign to live in Dylan. And he brought him by the Dylan gym that I have, fitness one gym in Dylan, to show him that this is what we've got to offer you. And so to bring people into our town and our city, we need to say, this is what we've got to offer. And to do that, we need that vision, and we need that positive attitude in our town to make all this other stuff happen.
The vision.
Yes, sir.
That concludes our interview with Curtis Boyd. And no matter your opinion, no matter how you feel about the candidates, as you'll see all three candidates responding, what we do is we ask you to vote. That's all we can ask you to do, is participate and vote and support the voting process that you're entitled to in Darlington. Thank you for your time, Mr. Boyd.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.